This is the Keurig K Elite that turns sleepy mornings into predictable, good coffee with almost no effort. I press a couple of buttons, grab my mug, and I am out the door with a cup that tastes the way I expect it to, every single time. This is a single-serve pod coffee maker for people who want speed and consistency without messing with grinders, scales, or cleanup. It makes the most sense for busy households, shared kitchens, or anyone who likes variety and does not want to commit to a whole pot. If you are a pour-over perfectionist or an espresso purist, this is not trying to replace that ritual. This is about getting a reliable cup fast, with just enough controls to tune strength and temperature to your taste. The brushed slate finish is the first thing I noticed. It looks grown up on a counter and does a decent job at hiding fingerprints. The footprint is reasonable for something with a large water reservoir. That reservoir is the silent hero here. It holds about 75 ounces, which means I can go several days of morning brews without refilling. It locks in securely so it does not wiggle when I tap the lid, but the handle makes it easy to lift off with one hand for a refill. The lid on the top opens high enough to drop in a pod without smacking a cabinet, and the hinge feels solid. The drip tray pops off smoothly and gives me enough clearance for a tall travel mug. I do need to angle the mug a little so it does not bump the spout, but it fits. The buttons are physical, not a touch screen, and that is a good thing. They are clearly labeled with brew sizes and options like strong, iced, and hot water. I can find them when I am half awake, and they click with a reassuring little snap. Setup was painless. The quick start guide actually helped because it made me do a rinse cycle before the first cup. I dropped in the charcoal water filter, filled the reservoir, ran hot water through a couple of times, and that took the plastic smell down right away. From a cold start, it heats up fast. By the time I have a mug on the tray and pick a size, it is ready to brew. The machine is not silent, but the sound is a low hum with a short gurgle at the end, nothing that bothers me or wakes up the whole house. Once it is warmed up, a cup takes about a minute. It is the kind of speed that matters on a workday morning. Taste is where this machine has surprised me. Single-serve pod coffee can be thin if you push the larger sizes, but the strong button helps a lot. It tweaks the brew in a way that gives the coffee more body without tasting burnt. With a medium roast, I prefer the 8-ounce size with strong mode on. It tastes balanced, not overly bitter, and it leaves room in the mug for a splash of milk if I want it. With a darker roast, the 10-ounce size still tastes bold enough for me. I can stretch to 12 ounces if I am drinking something very dark, but for most pods, 12 ounces starts to wash out the flavor. The iced button is not a gimmick. It brews a smaller, more concentrated cup that stands up to a full glass of ice. I do not get the watery mess I used to get when I brewed hot and poured over ice. It is simple, repeatable, and it tastes better than any quick iced coffee I was making at home before. The hot water button has turned out to be more useful than I expected. I use it for tea bags, instant oatmeal, and those emergency instant soups on days when lunch gets away from me. The water stream is steady and hot enough to steep black tea nicely. I also like having just a little control over brew temperature. I keep it on the warmer side most days, and I nudge it down a notch when I am making lighter roasts that can get harsh if they are too hot. There is a high-altitude setting tucked away in the menus, which I have not needed, but it is there if you live up high and boiling behaves differently where you are. In real daily use, here is what happens. Weekday mornings, I hit the power button as I reach for a mug. By the time I have a pod in place, the machine is ready. I pick 8 ounces and strong, and the coffee streams out with a rich aroma. The crema on top is more like a light foam, not a true espresso crema, but it makes the cup look inviting. I grab the mug, and there is almost no dripping or splatter left on the tray. If I am running late and need a travel mug, I pull the tray, slide the mug in, and go with 10 ounces. It clears fine once that tray is out. Cleanup is a non-event. I toss the pod, give the tray a quick rinse every few days, and that is it. On weekends, I experiment a little. I tried the 6-ounce size with a light roast and no strong mode, and it came out bright and crisp, almost like a small pour-over. I tried 12 ounces with a flavored pod, and that was too weak for my taste. The machine is consistent enough that I feel confident recommending 8 or 10 ounces as the sweet spots for most people. For iced coffee in the afternoon, I fill a tall glass with ice, hit the iced button, and select 10 ounces. The result is cold and flavorful without tasting overly diluted. If I am making hot chocolate or cider for someone, it is the same story. Drop in the pod, choose a size, and the machine does not confuse me with too many steps. Responsiveness is a big part of why I like this model. The buttons respond instantly. There is no laggy menu. The brew starts right away. The clock is easy to set, and auto on means I can have it already hot at the time I stumble into the kitchen. Auto off is there so I do not worry about waste. The machine also gives me a descale reminder when it needs attention. I ran a descale cycle once with a standard solution, flushed with clean water, and the machine was back to normal. If you are using hard water, the included filter helps, and you should replace it on schedule. I have seen less buildup than I expected after several weeks of daily use. There are a few things to keep in mind. The last few seconds of brewing can get a little splashy if the mug is very shallow. Using a taller mug or sliding the mug closer to the spout fixes it. The strong mode adds a little time to the brew, which is fine for me but worth knowing. While the finish looks premium, most of the body is plastic. It feels solid, but you will not mistake it for a metal machine. If you are sensitive to environmental waste, the disposable pods are not ideal. I use a reusable K-cup filter when I want to use my own grounds, and that cuts down on trash while giving me more control over the coffee. Also, if you like piping hot coffee that could survive a snowstorm, you might want to warm your mug first. The machine brews hot, but ceramic mugs can steal heat on contact. A quick rinse with hot water from the hot water button makes a difference. What stands out after living with it is how little I have to think about it. I do not babysit it. I do not need to recalibrate anything. I know that an 8-ounce strong cup will taste the way I like. A 10-ounce cup will fill my travel mug with enough kick, and the ice setting will give me a cold drink that does not taste watered down. When I want tea or oatmeal, the hot water button feels like a dedicated kettle tucked inside the same machine. I appreciate the small quality of life touches, like the clear reservoir with a handle and the audible cues that are loud enough to hear but not loud enough to annoy. The design is thoughtful in ways that matter at 7 in the morning. A typical use case for me looks like this. Morning routine, I go 8 ounces on strong with a medium roast pod. Midday, I might do a second cup at 6 ounces for a quick pick-me-up. Afternoon, if it is warm outside, I do the iced button over a glass of ice, and it holds up even after the ice melts a bit. Evening, if friends are over, I set out a stack of different pods, and everyone makes what they want, from hot chocolate to a decaf. Nobody fights over a single pot, and cleanup is a bag of used pods and a quick wipe of the tray. The unique features that actually matter to me are pretty simple. Strong mode tweaks extraction in a way that tastes fuller without making coffee harsh. The iced button saves me from brewing tricks and gives me a reliable cold coffee. The hot water button turned this into a mini beverage station. Temperature control lets me fine-tune without turning this into a science project. Auto on and auto off add convenience and peace of mind. And the large reservoir means I am not filling it every day. If you want a machine that makes a wide range of drinks with almost no learning curve, holds enough water to get you through the week, and brews fast without a mess, the Keurig K Elite is easy to recommend. If you want barista-style espresso, layered latte art, or tinkering with grind size and bloom times, you will be happier with a different category of machine. For busy mornings, shared kitchens, or anyone who wants consistent coffee with minimal effort, this checks the right boxes and stays out of the way. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel and let me know your questions or your own experience with this coffee maker in the comments. Thank you for watching.